What is going on, everybody? Easy Williams back out with another review, and welcome to my spoiler review of Scream 7. So if you do not get spoiled about the new Scream film, come back when you've seen the film. For those watching as well, do feel free to comment your spoiler thoughts on Scream 7 down below. So of course, if we're talking about the Scream franchise, we always gotta talk about the opening, and the opening kill I thought was easily one of the best parts about this movie, even though it has nothing to do with the rest of it at all. Then we catch up with Sydney and her daughter Tatum, where Tatum is doing a lot of the same things as Sydney when she was younger, having a boy in her room, where Sydney catches them both for a little cheap fan servicey moment, which now that I've had time to think about it, I do like Tatum as a character now, even though I still do have some issues with her character. Sydney now has a coffee shop that she works at, where she has this guy give a dirty look to her for some reason. And as well, she's talking to her friend about how her friend used to have an abusive husband. We'll talk more about this later. While also having her friend's son appear there briefly. Then McKenna Grace dies in a decent enough kill, even though it's CGI blood. Then we catch up with Sydney at work, where she gets a Ghostface call. Then the Ghostface FaceTimes her, and it's Stu Macher. Where I knew as soon as they were casting dead ghost faces of the past, I was going like, okay, they're either gonna have them be actual ghosts now, or they're gonna do some AI thing with it, just to hook the fans back. And what do you know, they ended up going the second route with the AI stuff, where they were dangling the carrot going, ooh, Stu might be alive, even though I full well knew that he wasn't alive. The Ghostface tries to kill Sydney and Tatum in their house, where Gale ends up running him over, and it's revealed to be the guy that was at the coffee shop that gave Sydney a dirty look. But wait, there's more. They end up going to an insane asylum, where there's a mysterious worker there, which we'll get back to later. We get this cool kill scene at a bar, where Lucas, aka Sydney's friend's son, ends up getting killed by getting a spigot right through his head that shoots out beer and stuff, which was an awesome kill, even though it defies logic, which we'll talk about this more later. Then we get the killer reveals, where it's the guy from the psychiatric hospital, and it is also Sydney's friend, which I called both as soon as those two characters were on screen. Which originally I was expecting Lucas to be a killer too, but no, she ends up killing her own son, which strains credibility, and she defies it by saying, oh, he reminded me too much of his father. Which is dumb, but what is also dumb is her motive, where she's essentially mad Sydney didn't make more books after the one she made in Scream 4 to cope with the trauma that she's had from her abusive husband. Terrible motive, and both of them are tied for the worst Ghostface of this whole entire franchise. I altogether forgot the dude's motive as well, so that says a lot. And what do you know, Sydney and Tatum killed them both. Movie ends. Worst Ghostface reveal and motive of the whole entire franchise, and yeah, I wanted to like this, but I just thought it was okay.